Alright guys, in this video I'll show you how to process FARO Swift data as of version Scene 2021.2 and onwards. .1 was a little bit different. Alright, so I have Scene open, plug in my SD card. I usually don't do the automatic transfer, so I'll say no over here. I will create a project, call it Swift Processing. Go into import scans, find my SD card or your backup, wherever you have it. Remember, this is a Swift session, that's a separate Swift session, and anything that has these numbers together, meaning 003, 003, 003, this means this was a session that contained a mobile part, then apparently a stationary part, 001, but still belongs to the same Swift, I guess, session at that point. So however many times you stop and create a stationary scan, there will be a mobile part in between. So I'm grabbing everything with the same name, or same number here. So it's 003. I'm going to grab and drag and drop them in here. So you see I have two mobile and one stationary scan over here. So the caveat, and I guess this is going to change in future versions of Scene, but right now it's still the best way of doing this. Don't hit save here yet. Before you hit save, do this. Right click, Operations, Swift, pre-process your anchor scans. This pulls out the anchor scans from the mobile sessions, and once this is done, you can delete these mobile sessions. So I'll just wait until this is finished. Okay, seems to be finished. So I now have a new anchor scans cluster. I still have the stationary scan here. Now I'm holding Shift and I'm selecting the mobile parts over here, and I am deleting them. So I'll right click, hit delete. Yes. Now it's safe to actually save. It's going to take less time to actually save if you don't have those mobile parts in there. So that's why I'll hit save. Say extracted anchor scans. This shouldn't take too long. There we go. Now the clue to this, if you hit processing at this moment and you hit process scans and you think you have it finished and everything will work, when you hit this button and you say, oh, there's 7 scans that I need to process, you'll hit processing, start processing, it'll fail. So this is a problem. And to circumvent this problem, what you do is you take what you extracted. So you have the anchor scan and also the however many stationary scans you have over here. And just move them out. Just put them into your scans folder over here. So at this moment, this entity, which we just moved everything out of, doesn't have anything in it. So I can go ahead and actually delete this guy too. So in a scans cluster, or whatever you want to rename this, I typically rename this to Swift Session 01, because if I have multiples of them, I'll have multiple anchor scans. But this would correlate to, hey, I have anchor scans and I have a stationary scan over here, right? You can go ahead and actually process now, and you'll see that it'll actually work. There's no incomplete sequence here shown anywhere. So if I hit start processing, and again, these are my defaults. You can have completely different defaults, but that's what I'm using for today's video. Start processing, and you'll see that it'll run through the data without complaining. So I'll just sit back and relax and wait till it's all finished. All right, now that everything's processed, I can go ahead and just actually view the data if I want to. Not that I need to, but there's the stationary scan. Those are all my anchor scans. Now, in order for the registration to work properly, best way that I found is you now, in these anchor scans, you now can actually take this Swift stationary scan, which has the inclinometer and all the sensors turned on, move it into the anchor scan cluster and make it your reference. So the software will utilize the level in stationary scan 001 or whichever you would happen to put in here to link the other scans to it. So we have how many? We have 2 anchor scans after the stationary scan. We have 1, 2, 3, 4 anchor scans before. And when we now do our registration with what we're typically thinking, start automatic registration, and we'll do cloud to cloud. Go ahead and these settings should work. So we'll hit start, register and verify. And what this does is it'll create those it'll link those anchor scans to the stationary scan, inheriting its sensor inclination and its compass bearing and all of these things. And if you are relatively close, you should have good results over here. Again, depends on how many scans you're actually comparing and what your initial cloud-to-cloud scan settings are. But at this point, we could have actually renamed the anchor scans to this, because now we have a finished cluster inside a cluster that doesn't really need to be here. So we can go ahead and actually move this here and delete this guy. However you want to tackle this. This is kind of up to you, but I'll call it Swift session 01. Again, hit save. Registered data done, and now I have my first Swift session. So a couple of weird steps, but this has worked for me pretty well in Scene version 2021.2 and plus. So hopefully this was a useful video, and if you have any questions or comments, leave them below.